Hey there and happy Tuesday. So today I'm having an awesome day. And if you're wondering why I'm having an awesome day, it is because the Sweet Old Friends dies and labels came back in stock, and I had people waiting for that, and I placed some orders to help people get that, or helped people place orders, you know, whatever I do. Anyway, let me just give you a hint of what is an awesome day. So I don't know if you ever, sometimes depending on how my camera angle is, sometimes you might see my bulletin board over there. I have my Alaska page all colored in because I earned Alaska. And then next to that, I have had where that blank spot is above Stampin' Up, I've had these couple of things going. And so sometimes you guys see the background of my stuff and you can see it's messy. Well, it's organized, but just not neat looking, if that makes sense. But anyway, I've been coloring in this Costa Rica page, and it has, it's hard to see there, but little like goals, like when I achieve like $1,400 or 14,000 points, I should say, towards the trip and such. And most of it is earned from dollars and sales and such. And so as I kept coloring it in, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to happen again this year. I would just like get giddy, and I never take it for granted. And I'm always just shocked when it happens. It happened today. So I earned the next incentive trip to Costa Rica. And anytime I mention something like that, Stampin' Up! Says that I need to also provide my disclaimer to say that less than 1% of the demonstrators in the demonstrator base earn the trip. That is why it is so amazing to me, and that I am so thankful for you guys for everything you do to allow me to do what I do, to do fun things like that too also. So thank you. And then when I colored that in, I thought about once a month I try and update my March to a million. And so a lot of you ask like, oh, I bet you're close, or like you're gonna get there and all that kind of stuff. And I am $35,000, and that's not points or anything. It is actual dollars and sales. My team can't help me with this. I can help myself with it, but I'm not going to spend that much just to get there. So as always, that's a group process to get there. So I'm almost to the penny, $35,000 away from getting there. I don't see myself doing that this year even. So that tells you how much of a march to a million it is. But I like to update people on that as well so that you can see that. So I'll hang those back up so that you can see how I'm coming along, and as it gets closer, every so often I might show you that too. But the real reason I'm here is to show you a fun card, because I thought it was fitting if the person that put me over the edge ordered this bundle. I thought I'm gonna show this bundle today. Like, it only makes sense. It's kind of the theme of the day. Right? Oh, and I'll be going to bed like dreaming of like beaches and such. I loved Alaska, don't get me wrong, for the incentive trip, but I love beaches too. So they're both great. I love vacationing, and I think that's part of it. I love seeing everything that God has given us on this earth. And so that's part of it too. All right. So hello there, Julie. Here it is. And this is the card that I'm making today. And I'm going to do this before I forget too. Silly old bear. So kind of focusing on the designer series paper that comes with the suite of products. You can see the supply list there. And then at the top, I kind of just stamped out, it almost looks like I use this as scratch paper just to see if my ink's working. But what I did is I like to let people have options when they're making cards at classes and such. So I thought, you know what, these 4 kind of sentiments from the Sweet Words and Labels stamp set are kind of what goes with these images the best. And so I just stamped it out, because sometimes at classes too, my stamps might get scattered around and they might have missed the best option, or the option that they maybe would have chose and wanted the most. So I stamped that out, and hopefully that gets noticed, or I'll try and draw attention to that too. So let's see, this is what has been out of stock and just came back in are these dies that go with these images, and they also cut out the paper. Recently I did a video and showed that. And so these are also where my sentiments that I just talked about come from, the sweet words and labels, and then all these fun frames. And this is a stamp, that's a stamp, so these dies can cut that out, layer it out, and all that kind of fun stuff. And speaking of cutting out and layering and all that fun stuff, let me just pull over some dies. This is why I really need to get caught up here, you guys, on some of my videos, because my magnetic die holder over here is getting very full. So as you can see, like one of the frames from the Sweet Words and Labels does this for today's card, that little frame. And then there's all sorts of different other little frames too. But with that, I'd like to show you this 12 by 12 piece here has 12 different ones that all can be cut out with the same frame from the Sweet Words and Labels. For those of you that love to fussy cut, you could actually fussy cut around there, but I thought it was great fun to just cut those out with the frame, and then a different frame does these little other ones too, and a little bit smaller, but still very cute and all colored in for you. So that's great. And so that is what I got my little, my big piece, kind of the center focal point from, is from here. So you can see that right there. And then what I did is took this page, let's see here, that has kind of the Golden Glow Early Espresso pattern to it. And also, let's see here, here it is. This page with like the trees and the scenery. So those other these two pages that I'm just showing you here are going to be my background pieces that I've cut down to work with. And they just kind of give it that little, call it like a homespun look, as far as like, you know, piecing together as if you're quilting or something like that. So that is where these pieces come into play here. So I saw a similar card and thought I want to make it my own. And that's what we can do. You guys can see my cards, make them your own as well. Hello there, Lynette. And so to start out, I want to show you my card base. So that is Early Espresso color, folding this way. And then what I do next is take some Golden Glow cardstock. This is cut 4 by 5 1/4. And now I can put that right on my Early Espresso card base, because that's ready to go and I'm not popping it up or anything. That can just go right on there. Okay, so now I have these little pieces, and this is where I was trying to kind of do the math and go, that has to have, kind of by eyeing it, about 1/4 inch that way. And then I have this going like so. So what's kind of left to give 1/4 inch or so, maybe a little bit more generous for the rest of that piece. And then this is going to kind of match that size, and then this gets filled in like so. So I just started with these little pieces because I thought this is definitely going to be square, so it's easiest to see kind of and divide that out, and then that's going to be the same. So my measurement for these two pieces are 1.75 by 1.75. So then I put those on right away. Like I said, just kind of, I maybe hugged the outside more. If there's going to be a gap, I wanted it to be in the inside more, just because that's going to get covered up by that frame that we're cutting out. And I'd rather have this showing more on the outside than covering it up with that frame. And then what's left are these two pieces. So I knew it would be 1.75 because that's what the square is, but the length then is 3 inches. So 1.75 by 3 inches, and those two have to, of course, be the same size as well. So we've got kind of that fun foresty 100-acre woods theme going on in the background there and such. So that's on the opposite side, in case you're wondering what we're giving up to have something like this. Sometimes don't you feel that way? Like, what's cute that we're giving up, even though we think we know we want this? But I chose those because all of these have a nice soft compatible look with each other with the papers used and such. I tried to bring in maybe pecan pie or peaceful pine and such, and definitely I felt like it had to be the early espresso and golden glow, and so then that, you know, naturally came or whatever. But maybe you could use some of that 100-acre woods and peaceful pine or something too. Or even depending on like this, you could maybe bring in some of the like balmy blue, hydrangea hue, secret sea, things like that, depending on what is that. So use the layout, use the measurements, but then maybe depending on what even paper you're using. Say you're not even using the sweet or the Silly Old Bear Designer Series paper and such too. So I hope that makes sense to you. So then it's just a matter of going through what I cut out from the frames and then choosing one. And this one goes this way. So I thought I'm going to choose one that goes this way so you can kind of see that it does still pop off of that background that I've made. And I'm going to lift that up with some dimensionals so that we have that as well, to kind of help lift that, because it's not like it's a super busy pattern, but it does have some busyness in that paper. And let's get a couple more dimensionals here, like so. And now this is ready to go. I just love putting this card together because it's just so cute and just so homespun. Okay, actually I'm just gonna lay that there kind of. And then the sentiments that I had for ideas are old friends are the best friends, oh bother, you deserve a little treat, or it never hurts to keep looking up, which I think I'm going to use that it never hurts to keep looking up because it looks like that's what Piglet should be doing. And so just kind of to me matches the theme or kind of that image. So I'm just gonna try and get that inked up and centered. We'll see how that turns out. Oh, looks like it's a little high up, but I think it'll be just fine. Or actually, I could maybe even just put it on the back side too here. There we go. All right, so there, that looks a little bit more centered, I think. There we go. We can always use the back side. Okay, so, and the reason why I didn't want to put that there is because I want to make sure I had enough room for this, or I could always just overlap that a little bit too, which I think I might do because I don't want it to look like it's floating up too high. So I think I'm just going to flip this over and put 3 dimensionals on here. And because like this is so beautifully colored in and that, we're just like, it's just like adding a piece of paper onto that. We don't have to do anything with it, but yet it becomes a focal point. And then this nice die has like little divots. I don't know if you can see that in the camera right there and right there. So with this being the center of the card, I can just use those divots to kind of guide, and that helps me center so that I know that my sentiment is now centered on there as well. And then this kind of can be my little guide up at the top too, so that I know when it fills in that space, it's in the center up there also. So little things like that, little tips and tricks, because sometimes for beginners or even seasoned people, we're like, we need a little help, or you might be starting to look at like this little sign that's, you know, a little bit crooked, or the tree looks like it's maybe tipped a little, and then our eyes want to go that way. And so this is nice to know that we have some little tips and tricks for adding embellishment. Thanks so much, Pam. It is just a fun one. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of, like I said, saw it somewhere else, made it my own, and just loving it. So I always feel like I'm not bragging when I can give kind of that beginning credit elsewhere. Deflect from me. All right, so I'm just taking some Golden Glow ribbon. I love this stuff. I think this is going to be great also for fall and for Christmas, just because it's just kind of that rich Golden Glow color that's not quite gold, but kind of brings in some of that warm color. So I've got that just trimmed off each edge, but it's just tying a knot and like loosely pulling it tight. And then we have this nice knot cover here, which we could use, or if you like that side, you could either way. And then we're just going to take that and press that into a mini glue dot. And then I'm just going to attach it kind of up here on the corner of my frame, like so. I'm putting it on the cardstock because then it becomes about the same size, or same height, I should say, as the frame that we popped up with the dimensionals to give it that lift. And if you ever notice, I feel like every time I use Silly Bear Sweet, you know what's coming next when it comes to embellishments, because I love these butterflies, the 2026 through 2028 in color butterflies. Once again, I'm going to use that because they just are as sweet as all of these little creatures and such. So I'm going to use the larger of the white, kind of just like a clear look here. I'm going to put this one down here, and then the smaller of the white, I'm going to put that one up here, like so. So kind of subtle as far as there's other colors that I could have used, but because there's so much going on and such, a kind of like the subtle look where you know something's there, and then kind of you're going to read the sentiment, you're going to see the butterflies that way too. And then because this is kind of more like a note card, for the inside, all I'm going to do, and what I feel like I've been doing with a lot of my Winnie the Pooh cards, is just taking the Pooh Bear here and inking him up with my black ink pad, and he could be colored in there too. I would use the Golden Glow because that really seems to be the color that he is, which I think is amazing. I always say, what came first, Stampin' Up's knowledge that they were going to be using the Silly Bear or the in color Golden Glow, because it is just such a perfect color for Winnie the Pooh. Okay, so that's just going to be the inside there. Never hurts to keep looking up, and we've got that also. So hopefully you guys enjoy that layout. And like I said, you could take different designer series paper, because the joy of a lot of our paper packs is that they coordinate really well. So within a pack, you'll see repeated color patterns, and just colors and coordination that work so well together. So keep in mind this layout. And another thing too that people have mentioned to me, they'll be like, oh, what were your measurements again for such and such card? And a lot of times they're recent enough, and that's what they're working on because they just saw one of my videos and they can go back and look. But keep in mind that Facebook only allows me to keep my videos on here for 30 days, then they're auto deleted. And so I upload them to YouTube. So all of my videos for, gosh, I started doing it once COVID hit, so all my videos since 2020 live on in there, and so that's where they'll be. So hopefully the most recent ones show, because that's probably what you're catching and such too. So that can give you that for measurements and such too. Some of you have the card if you some of my cards if you've done the classes with me in person, but some of you can't come, or maybe you weren't at that exact class where I did a card that you need measurements for. So I like to pass that tip along as well. So I will keep celebrating. I don't think we're doing anything crazy, because me earning the incentive trip to Costa Rica isn't like never in the plans, like, hey, that's gonna happen today. And so when it did, I'm like, yay. So I might just like maybe make my favorite meal tonight at home or something. We'll see how that goes. So thank you so much again for supporting my business. I love what I do. I love sharing that passion with you guys, and hopefully you can share that with others through your creative spirits as well too. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.